Hi everybody, this is Boogass Reviews, and today I'm going to be doing a review on the brand new McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Justice League Task Force Aquaman figure. So before we take a look at Aquaman, let's go ahead and take a look at all of the accessories that he comes with. So first up, he comes with your standard DC Multiverse base, but we've seen this used many times before. I'm sure everyone has plenty of these. Up next, you get his data file. And this one's actually a little bit different than the previous data files we've seen, because this time this one tells his powers, first appearance, alter ego, and base of operations. So I think that's pretty cool. I still wish they would have put a little bit of a bio right here. I feel like they left enough space that they could have put just a little mini bio on it. Up next, he comes with the fists and head of the Darkseid Build-A-Figure. I think it looks pretty good. I really like the colors on this. The only cell shading that I can see is right here on the left side of his head. I'm wondering if once I get it completely built, if it can pass as a comic version. Up next, he comes with these effects pieces, and I have to admit, these things are pretty janky. They don't really want to go into his hands that well. His hands are too big for the holes that you slide them into. And in the case of this one, it just doesn't even go over his hand. I thought maybe it was supposed to go on his foot, because it actually fits in there very well. So you could do that if you want, but just the way it looks ridiculous to me. And finally, he comes with his trident. And this is the trident we've seen used many times before. It's still that really bendy plastic. You can see how warped mine is here towards the end, but it doesn't look too bad. So now let's go ahead and take a look at the head sculpt on this figure. So having this in hand, I have to say this head sculpt looks really good. I don't think the promo pictures did it justice, honestly. I think this is a really awesome looking Aquaman head sculpt. The only real complaint that I have with it is you can see that his right eyebrow is thicker than his left eyebrow, and that does look a little bit funny. But I absolutely love the sculpt of the hair. The hair is sculpted really nice, like it's flowing in water. That looks great. I think McFarlane Toys did a very awesome job on this head sculpt. You know, there's no side eye like the first Aquaman figure. There's no creepy smile like that Phygital version. I think this is just a really nice looking head sculpt, and it is definitely much better in hand than the promo pictures or anything you see online do it justice for. So taking a look at the rest of the figure, this does reuse parts from the previous Aquaman figures for the most part, but you get some different paint to represent the video game. And I don't think it looks terrible. Like up here at the collar, I think the cell shading looks really good. But here on his chest, it looks just a little bit sloppy. Down here on his abs, the way it's outlined in that orange collar and the yellow in the center, I think that looks really good. But yeah, right here on the chest, I feel like the paint could have been just a little bit better. You also get some brown paint right here on his sides and on his biceps. And again, I think the paint could have been better right here, especially when you look at the greens right here on his pants. I think that cell shading looks really good. It actually looks kind of pixelated towards the edges, but it doesn't here. The paint is actually really solid. I do appreciate that we get some paint back here. It looks more pixelated back here, so I do like the way that looks. But yeah, I wish the chest would have matched that. I think this figure would have been a lot better if it would have had some better cell shading right here on the chest and bicep and shoulders. You do get some new trunks for Aquaman. The previous Aquaman figures, the belt was just a little bit different, and for this one you get the A. And as I said, the cell shading on the green parts looks really good. The pixelation on the darker green that outlines that light green, that looks really good, especially on the gloves. Yeah, McFarlane Toys did a really good job on some of the cell shading on this figure. It's not a horrible figure by any means. I just feel like the paint up here could have been a little bit better. The good thing is, though, it's not entirely pixelated, so I think you could really pass this off as a comic version. The one weird thing is you don't get any sort of paint on his pants or the back of his gloves like you did up here. I really wish we would have gotten some more of that pixelated paint. I think that would have looked good on the back, or maybe just on the fins right back here on his calves. Definitely could have used just a little bit more paint back here. I also wanted to say that the wrists on mine are very, very loose. These are falling off constantly. Anytime I try to pose the figure around, like moving it up like that, his hands pop off. And I didn't have that issue with the previous Aquaman figures. These hands are so loose they just turn really freely. Might have to put just a dot of super glue on the inside to make them fit just a little bit tighter. So that's one weird thing I wanted to mention since I didn't have that issue on the previous figures. So now, let's go ahead and go over his articulation. So he has a ball jointed head that can look up all the way. He can look down all the way. He can move his head side to side. Surprisingly, the hair does not hinder any of that articulation. He has shoulders that can move all the way out. These joints spin all the way around. He has swivel at the bicep that can move side to side. Double jointed elbows that can bend all the way in. Ball jointed wrists that can move up and down, but you can see the joints starting to get loose right there. And spin all the way around. Yeah, that's what it does if you want to spin it around. So yeah, I'm definitely going to have to fix this after the video. He has a ball jointed diaphragm and waist that can move back all the way. He can crunch forward just a little bit. He can move side to side up here, as well as the waist, and all the way around very nicely. He has hips that can do a complete split. He can kick forward just a little bit. He can kick back all the way. He has a thigh swivel that's a little bit hindered. He has double jointed knees that can actually move all the way back. Ankles that can move down just a little bit, up all the way, spin all the way around, and toe articulation that can move up that far. So now, let's do some size comparisons. So first up, here he is next to the Fidgetal Aquaman figure. I'm using the Flashpoint Barry Allen head as a classic head on this one, and then the Endless Winter Aquaman figure. Here he is next to Nightfall Batman and Gold Label Superman. I have yet to get the rest of this wave, but I'm definitely looking forward to picking those up as well. Here he is next to Wonder Woman, the Platinum version, and Flash, and I'm very surprised that we didn't actually get a Wonder Woman figure in this wave. Some pixelated paint apps on that would have been a great reuse of the mold, and a way to get her out to collectors again, because she is still pretty sought after. Here he is next to Fidgetal Green Arrow. And finally, here he is next to the Megafig of Darkseid. The Builder-Figure uses more or less the same parts as this Megafig, so the Builder-Figure should be the same size as this one. So overall, I would highly recommend picking this up because I think McFarlane Toys actually did a really good job on this. Having it in hand, it is definitely a lot better than I thought it would be. I wasn't entirely excited for this figure, but now that I have it in hand, it is a pretty cool figure, and that head sculpt looks really good. The promo pictures definitely don't do this figure justice. I did have some nitpicks with the figure, like the paint on the chest. I feel like that could have been a little bit better. The wrists were loose, and the effects pieces aren't great. But other than that, this is a pretty cool figure, so yeah, I'd definitely recommend picking it up. So that's my review. If you like this review, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.